Oh wow, the camera's drifted. I better fix that up. It's always... Yeah, that sucker's gonna drift. Great. Question is, who's at fault? Oh, dude. I don't want to mess around with it too much. Yeah, the headband, Stuart, Neil, Joseph, Mr. Gaming. Let's pop out this chat, make it easy for me to track you all. The Oliver and ITC, Tonto. I'm just going to get straight into it. This is the logic board we were working on last night. It's now been ultrasonic cleaned, fixed and everything like that. It ended up being one of the caps was about 5 or 6 ohms, so it made it difficult to spot. What it was causing the CD3215 to heat up, but of course the cap itself wasn't really, because it was just messing with the internals. So all the power is being dissipated in the CD3215 as it tried to comply with what the cap was trying to draw. Yeah, so it's fixed up. Now we've got to put it back together and reassemble the machine. And it has made me realise I've got another machine that had similar behaviour. So I'm going to actually check that and see if it isn't the same fault. It's kind of handy sometimes when you end up solving one machine and you realise they had very similar behaviour to another. Now this should also drive a few people crazy with the style of pasting I'm doing. All I can suggest is to just look away. Hey, no money. Hey, Pedro. Mr. Siddle, John, Sivlat, and Sivu. Geez, everybody's got Siv in their name, have they? Every single one of them got an S in their name. Sounds like a horse race being called with a lisp. I'm going to make sure I take a breath lest I explode. Hey, Mr. Carrot. Niemand. Carrot, are you guys doing a stream after this? Are you getting prepared for your stream? What's your stream going to be tonight? Hendry, you want to see the service room set up? Probably not going to be able to do that, only because I don't want to move the cameras around. But I mean, yeah, you can sort of see a little bit here. These are not just normal lightweight web cameras to move around. So maybe another day. Super Sleuth and Sidemy Doop. Hi there, Ed. I don't know, how many of you have listened to the Wired World of Sports tape? If you're an Australian and you grew up in the 70s and 80s, you most certainly will have heard of the Wired World of Sports audio tape. And you probably tried very hard to make sure that your parents didn't hear you listening to it, which was extremely difficult because you'd spend 90% of the time laughing your guts out. Now, Caradog, what are you streaming today? As in, what's your topic? Hey there, Murto. Yeah, the 12th Man, that's the one. Yep. Good to see we've got some cultured persons in here. I think the Marshall Battery one was a particularly difficult one not to laugh at. And the Pommel Horse, was it? Big Daryl Eastlake interviewing the guy that ran into the end of the Pommel Horse. Can't really sort of repeat a lot of that. I'll get demonetized pretty quickly. I just always remember the intro to it. You have the guy running up to the gymnastic vault, just hearing a poof into the end of it. Oh, sickening stuff. Hey, IoT. Now with, got to put the, what do you call it? Got to put the rubber shrouds on these. Not some aerobic. No. That Oz Aerobics was usually on at about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So if you're feeling sick on the day and you had a day off from school, then yeah, that's usually what you'd be watching at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And your mother would probably be around the house cleaning, but she probably would not really be interested in the TV until around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when General Hospital and Old and the Useless were on, things like that. But that's okay, because by then you'd finished watching stuff and you're probably feeling a bit sick, genuinely sick again. You got all your educational shows from ABC. You need to get some rest before the afternoon cartoons would start. Right, so this now works, but I've just got to put it all back together so that I can send it back. And I prefer to try and get these things reassembled out of the way as quickly as possible. Otherwise they languish on my shelves and I come back to them a few days later and go, what the heck's this doing here? And then I'm like dear old Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. Fairly certain it started around 6 on a Saturday morning. That would be, Saturday morning cartoons, that would be after Rage had finished. You'd watch the top 40 with no adverts. And then you switch over and to the commercial channels and they would have your cartoons starting by then. I ended up, the nice thing at least that time with Rage was that, and ABC, is you could listen to it through your portable radio if you had a pair of headphones, because of course back then not many TVs had wireless headphones or remotes and things like that. If you wanted to change the channel you had to get up out of the couch, go to the TV and switch it over. And you're usually forbidden from having headphones in the TV, because as soon as you plug the headphones in, the TV would go quiet and no one else would be able to hear it. So the solution anyway for me was I had a portable FM radio, you tune it into ABC, and you listen to Rage while watching it. And then, of course, because that would start at, I think it's like that. The top 40 part would usually start about 4:30 in the morning. And the last thing your parents wanted was to hear you, well, rather hear the TV. Oh, Agro. You look back now on that show with Agro and you kind of go, how the hell did they get away with that? Yeah, there's a lot of memories back then. Ready, Steady, Cook. Yeah, I remember that one. That was usually when I sort of stopped watching. I wasn't much of a, the Rage went all night, but the top 40 aspect only came in at about 4:30 in the morning or so. My favourite cartoons were usually things like Astro Boy, G-Force. I know it's not the proper name, but forgive me for not using the proper name. Cities of Gold was one that I quite liked too. Oh wow, Stuart, you were one of the people fortunate enough to live in the big city then. Does Rage still play these days? I mean, what is that now? That's like 40 odd years of that's crazy. Wow, this screw has been very difficult to get in for some reason. Yeah, Astro Boy was something not quite. I didn't realize it was actually from like the 60s and stuff. I always remember the multi-episode one where he had to fight against some 1 million horsepower gigantic robot with these massive black horns or something. And then there was also, yeah, that's right, he had to fight there was a big competition of killing something. That robot went along and it killed an Australian robot, I remember that. And the Australian robot was solar powered. It's pretty futuristic for the 60s. And I remember it defeated the solar powered robot by creating a storm. So clearly they hadn't invented batteries big enough at that point. We've got a problem here that you may remember last night I made a comment that the screws were the wrong ones, and I don't seem to have screws for holding that plate in, so we're going to have to... Oh wait, maybe I do here. Hey there, Tin Man. Ah, from Texas. Well, howdy there. How do you like Mr. Rossman being in your state? Hopefully you're not going to turn up at his house and tar and feather him. Was this Astro? He's now Astro Turf Man? What the? Oh, that was the other one that I quite liked, was Star Blazers, and then there was a French one, Ulysses. Star Blazers and Ulysses. I still can remember the Ulysses theme in my head. It was entertaining and educational, of Greek history, or Greek mythology rather. Hey Tom, won't be around for long. Where are you going? Local hamvention today? I'm not sure what a local hamvention. Hamvention, what is that like, where you go along and eat lots of bacon and ham? We're almost there, we're almost there. And then I'm going to take a look at this other one that had similar symptoms and see if I've got the same fault on that. It'll be very nice if it is. Let's see. Okay, we've got 2 more little screws here. You can tell the difference between the screws that are meant for in here versus on these cover plates. The cover plate ones, this is where the fault is, yeah. These are the wrong ones. These they're just a flat top, whereas the proper cover plate ones, they're more of a dome head, a button head. So yeah, the ones in here, they're flat for some reason, whereas they should be button or dome. Tim, man, the question is, can you get Mr. Rossman to acquire a weapon now? Concealed weapons license. Is Texas fairly... I don't know the gun laws in the various states, but is it fairly liberal with... what do you call it? Carry weapons? Everyday carry? Or is it still pretty strict? I remember as a kid I would ride around on my motorbike and have my rifle on the motorbike. Probably wasn't a good thing. Well, when I say kid, I was over 18, but didn't really think that one through properly. Just strap the rifle onto the back of the motorbike, go riding. Open carry, right. Oh, okay, so it can't be a concealed carry, it has to be an open carry. Oh, well, that's a fair compromise. Club fundraiser these days, Bunnings. Oh, right, Bunnings sausages. Right, got it. Okay, so this is just an unofficial Mac machine. Doesn't actually have any customer specific data on it. Right, it's an amateur radio buy sell swap. Right, yeah, I didn't. Oh, now it makes sense. Ham, right, got it. That took a long time and a fair bit of explaining to get me to understand. Sorry about that, Tom. Just a bit slow, I see. That is, I am. Marvelous. Yeah. It's funny, they said the same thing when I moved to South Africa. I said, you got a weapon? I was like, no. We'll supply you with one. And I was like, no. I am not trained in handling weapons, so therefore any weapon that I carry with me will most likely be used against me. Comes free when you buy a pickup truck. Is that? But do you have to get at least a F250 or a Ram, or can it just be just a lightweight? Can you get one of those special Rams with the broken back? Alright, that's good. Even the touch bar is working, so that's nice. Fantastic. Another machine saved from the graveyard. Hey, Catherine. And another bunch of dollars for me. Meanwhile, Jason's like going, God damn it, stop fixing the things I send you. It's costing me money. Alright, so this is a slight detour. I just need to see if I can fix this one up. Now, did I leave all the 3215s on here? Yes, alright, so this came in with a problem with one of the 3215s was distinctly damaged, and I ended up replacing them both, but it still was not behaving properly. So I'm just going to run over it with a couple of tests and see if I can find the same fault. I have a horrible suspicion I will not, because life isn't sufficiently kind in that respect. Continuity mode. it seems like in this particular case, no such luck on that side. Hey, Christos. Tom, I find that with captions, they don't really come up nicely in blocks until the video has finished for several hours. There. That's it right there, that one. So what was that? That was reading 3.4 or something? Hey there, PR. What board's this one? I just want to verify before I rip something out. Be awfully nice if it's an 850 board, I think. Yeah, this will be an 850 because it looks like a 239, but it doesn't have a life raft connector. I'm hoping I'm right, but we'll find out. Just realised the background on this is all wrong. That's right, I changed the... let's see, background. That'll be good. Okay. Yep. Which one was it? It was the bottom one, wasn't it? Yeah, CC1. Okay, yeah, that should not be as low as that is. And looks like that should be reading a 0.58 on the diode mode. And it's reading, well, certainly less than that. Come on, mouse. You and I have got issues. I just realised I don't seem to have any of my usual meter things going. Please stand by. It's kind of weird because it is switching. Like when I move the multimeter, not the multimeter, the microscope, it's switching, which means it was running. Oh, well, buggy software. What do you expect from someone like me? Hey, Falcon. Okay, we're still missing one. USB-C meter hasn't come up for some reason. Let's try that again. Okay. So they must have been running and something glitched them. So we're going to do some killing here. So... That's better. Now it's alive. Alright, so that particular pad that seems to be sure to come on. Mouse, you are... honestly, it's so bad that I'm thinking of going back to a traditional old rolling ball mouse. Okay, I'm not really, but it makes you want to. Well, that's weird. It's not showing up as... It's weird. 0.54 is correct, but when I was in continuity mode, it most definitely was not correct. Unless there was charge in the circuit. And now it's fine. Oh no, it's that one. 3.6. That's actually more problematic. Because that's 1v8. That's not supposed to be... That's a really unfortunate thing. Because that could well be T2. There's so many things that could be. Could be another CD3200. Yeah, 0.397, that should be around about 1K, 500 to 1K. There's a couple of ways I can try to deal with this. Now, given that this is where the damage was, I can just try to pull those caps off and see, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be so blessed. Oh, interesting, it goes into the sensor. The only trouble with injecting voltage into this is that... Okay, so what is the resistance for that? Let's have a look at what our resistance is, and then we'll get an idea of whether it's going to go anywhere with the voltage injection. .4. So if we inject 1 volt, we're not going to get a lot of heat. Fortunately, we haven't done any hot air rework at the moment, so we may have a chance of it showing up, but I have a horrible feeling it's going to be this glorious chip here that's going to be at fault. I mean, I genuinely hope I'm wrong, because otherwise this is very much a dead end. Behold the T2. Now it could be that this chip is also damaged, so I've got another situation where I have to replace all 4 damn chips. We could do an injection here. The other question is, who's generating that voltage? Nah. Looks like it's coming out of the T2. Maybe. Or is it going in? Well, I can see why the machine wouldn't power up. It's key to holding up all the I2C lines as well. Oh, here we go. No. There we go. It's been generated here on A1708, which is the CALP PMU, which I believe is going to be this one here. Now, at this point, a lot of people try to replace the PMU. I don't tend to go with that. I mean, it might be, but it's more than likely going to be one of the... Let's see, I'm just... A1708. Okay, so that coil there. If I had to blame, I would first start looking at these caps. Hey there, Mr. Tritz. So the very first thing I'm going to do is pull that inductor and see what happens. Ach, niemand. Once again, because I've been doing drying and because I haven't set up my power lines in this workshop properly, the fan was disconnected. Yeah, by pulling this inductor, it gives me a chance to isolate and find out, okay, is it the PMU or is it something else that's at fault? Yeah, so the dot was down. Those street skills from Romania. Alright, so the PMU side is cleared. The fault lies outside of the PMU, so yeah. So that's why you don't just go along and replace the PMU on these things, because it's not the world's hardest chip to replace, but it is close to the T2 and you can easily disturb things. It's a delicate chip, it's not a common chip, and it's an expensive chip. So yeah, don't go swapping PMUs as a general rule. It's not an iPhone. We've got a little bit too much solder there. I intentionally put down some leaded solder because I want to reduce the amount of heat I need to get this thing back on. But I sort of put a little bit too much on. No, Caradog, I'll probably not likely ever be happy with my workshop. Certainly not this one. Maybe if I get a big shed. But this one is certainly not a big shed. This is only about a 4x3 meter room, so I've got 12 square meters. And look, to be fair, that sort of squareage is only really for storage of your parts and tools. The workbench itself that I'm sitting at, you know, that's not that much of a space consumer. It's everything else. It's all your supporting equipment, your lighting, your cameras, your computers, your test gear, all that sort of stuff. Alright. Come to think of it, I probably should have left that off. The reason why I probably should have left that off is it allowed me to inject the voltage into there. Yeah, I'm going to take it off. And then I don't have to worry about the PMU getting upset. Okay. $50 square meter shed, that would be nice. Yeah, well, I was thinking of a 6x10. So that's pretty close to that. I think the most frustrating thing is when you just don't have enough space and you start getting to the thrash point where you have to keep chopping and changing everything anytime you want to change jobs. You spend more time pulling out the old gear, putting in the new gear and all that sort of thing, and than you do doing the job. In computer operating systems we call that thrashing, when you basically usually happens with paging. And once you start thrashing, everything just goes to hell. I'm just trying to find a suitable ground point, something that's not going to risk anything. The discipline is hard, but yeah, I think that if you've got the room, you can be slightly lax on the discipline and still be okay. But when you don't have the room, then you're pretty much doomed. No matter, even if you do have the discipline, you're just going to waste your time. Alright, so I've got a very short ground line and a moderate positive line. It doesn't really matter, but I like to keep at least one of them as short as I can. The shorter it is, the better. Now, before I connect these up, I most definitely have to make sure the voltage is set correctly. Last thing you want to do is go punch 18 volts into these things. So we're going to go for 1 volt, and we're only going to go for 2 amps. It should be 1 volt, 2 amp, that should be enough. Hey there, Tony. Okay, let's see what we're going to get when we connect this up. Okay, so we've got 300 milliwatts of power. It's not a huge amount of heat, but it should be enough to help us identify the part. So when you're using thermal cameras, it's quite a bit easier to pick up. Yeah, usually this thermal camera can pick up anything down to about 100 milliwatts. So under ideal circumstances, as long as it's concentrated, focused on a small enough area. I guess what it comes down to is your thermal density, as in watts per meter square. Okay, it looks like that's ready to go. See if anything shines. Okay, it looks like straight away that CD3215 is warming up. It's kind of could well just be that. Maybe I had a dud one right from the start. See if anything else over here. But then it is warming up here too. Nothing's really shining though. Certainly this one here is warming up the most. But there's nothing around this sort of area that's jumping out. I'm just going to adjust the offset slightly. There we go. No, Tony, this is a different board. The board that we were working on yesterday, that's fixed. I just put that back. That's all done and good. But it's interesting that both, well, the CD3215s are glowing. Just going to flip them over. See if we can spot anything. Power on. Yeah, there's a lot of like low warmth, but nothing's jumping out except reflections. And again, that 3215 is also glowing. Okay, why are the 3215s all glowing? Could it be that they're all dead? Just going to put it up to 1.5 volts. It is a 1.8 volt rail. Okay, 1.4. Yeah, that's definitely getting warm there. Check this one. Okay, interesting to note, this one is not really getting that warm. I mean, it's got a little bit of warmth in it, but not like this one. That one there, see how it starts to really take the focus? Just going to flip the board over and see if the same thing happens on both sides. Oh, Miles, that'll just be a reflection most likely. Yeah, again, that one really cooks up. Whereas that one, not so much. So it looks like I'm probably going to have to pop those off. That sucks. Not quite sure I'm really in the mood to do that. Oh yeah, there's no shortage of the red herrings. It's just a little weird that both the CD3215s are glowing like that. Yeah, normally you would expect one or the other, but not both. Then again, what do I know? Yeah, 3.3 amps. So I say we just pop them off and see what happens to the resistance. I've got some CDs coming, don't worry about that. Okay, where's my nans on this one? It's all good. Just got to check these things before I commit to it. So we get our Grim Reaper, get our air extractor. See that there could be, no, that's just a piece of flux. So that means that's also a piece of flux. I try to slightly undercut these, not a lot. Certainly not with a lot of force. last thing you want to do on these things is force things. But by slightly undercutting it, it just gives that little bit more chance of getting a clean lift. Alright, and for lifting, I just use... come on. I just use this blade here and just get it under there and then sort of give it a twist. Fortunately, the flex of the blade means it shouldn't twist too hard. So just give it a good chance to warm up. Now, this blade has a bend in the end of it, and that's intentional. So depending on what I'm trying to save, I point it the other way. So like if I want to save the board, I do it this way. If I want to save the chip, I do it the other way. There we go. Nice and easy. And yes, it's very normal for those pads there to go disappearing. Gym depends a lot. Sometimes I actually get to Australia very quickly, and then Australia Post proceeds to take 2 weeks to get it to me. Very much luck of the draw. So I've picked up some NCs then. Alright, so I'm going to actually check that rail now, but I have a feeling that both of them are going to be cactus anyway. So that's it there. Maybe it'll be 6 ohms this time. Which one are we after? The little one. 4.8, yeah, so I'd say both of them got taken out. Where did that come from? That resistor there, that should not be there. I'm gonna guess it came from there. It's a 100k resistor, according to the schematic. Let's see if it is. Hey Rob. Welcome back. It's another reason why I don't really always like using large tipped irons around this stuff, because it's so easy to pick up random parts. And yep, it's 100k. Boop, boop. Hold on. Now, normally I would proceed to completely replace this, do everything, and then go to the next one, but because we're dealing with a possible double offender, I am going to actually remove the second one before going any further. What are you talking about, Pedro? These are underfilled, you jerk. Look at that, underfilled. Ah, what a jerk. So here we go, we're back to 230 again. It'll be easier to do this one because the board's already quite warm. At least in terms of getting this underfill removed slightly. but don't force it either. Like, give it time for the heat to make it soft, and then you can get it removed. Okay, those resistors are going to need to be redone. They have bobbled up. So what's happened there is those resistors, they got hot enough to melt the solder when I was flipping the chip, and now as a consequence they're actually not soldered down on one side too well. You probably find they float around. It's a problem that you encounter quite frequently if you're doing iPhones and you say replacing a touch chip or audio chip. It can be easy to make some resistors and all that all float off, but you don't realize because they're all stuck together in a sort of like a little rubbery sort of strip. And it's only when you put it all back together and try to fire up the phone and nothing works that you realize you've done something wrong. Okay, here we go again. Something just went tink then. I don't know what it was. Kind of scared. Yeah, Jim, it's and I'm not even in Townsville. That's the other thing. Townsville at least is considered a normal town, city, but if you try to get it to go to Charters Towers, they will slap you with rural, distant rates. So it'll cost you more and they'll tell you it's going to take longer, even though we're not even 2 hours drive. But they'll take anything they can to justify their pricing. Small box, £2. Yeah, it's just not worth sending me stuff. Okay, so the rail that we're interested is 2 away from the big, so that's that one there. That's still not great. It's all over the place, but it's still not great. It's about 11 ohms, which I think makes me think all of them are dead. Yeah, 10 ohms is not acceptable. Just checking diode mode to see if it comes up any different. Yeah, 0.088. Something else. I think it's killed all of the CD3215s again. So it looks like this job will in fact be delayed even longer. So we want a diode mode of around about 0.4. You'll recognise we're right back at the start where we were. I haven't changed the pie on this yet. I got hair on my tip. Okay, we're back. So yeah, we're back up to what we should be. So something killed those replacement CDs I put on there. About half a K. That's rather concerning. 0.56. Oh, sorry. 456, and what are you? Yeah. So this indeed will be waiting for the replacement CD3215s again. Like I said, they're on their way. They probably, if I'm lucky, they'll be here next week. I had other things turn up this week from the same order, so they can't be too far away. But what I will do is I'll clean up all the pads and everything so that it's ready to go when they turn up. I'm only using 360 Celsius on this, not the usual 470. But I might have to actually jump it up to 470. It's not really sort of convincing him to lift. Ah, here we go. Miles, I might just do that as a precaution. Just take the Pi 32 off. It's certainly frustrating when you have to take those kind of precautions. It's like all the different parts you're having to remove. Okay, for these ones we still have quite a bit of underfill present, so I'm gonna have to get rid of that. Now I do that in a couple of stages here. First thing I do is I give it enough heat and I use the hockey puck cutter. Actually no, this one doesn't have... This one's got very little on it actually. That's probably the cleanest I've ever seen a 3215 underfill come off. Could have sworn there was more there. We'll try the non-contact cleanup first. Let's get some flux into it. Oh wow, you don't very often get an underfilled 3215 that leaves so little underfill behind. That's amazingly limited. Pedro, what the hell are you whining about now? It did have underfill though, you dipwit. Now I know why Lewis Rossman always curses at me. It's kind of satisfying to have someone in chat that you really don't like and just lob all your frustrations at them. It's therapeutic. I owe Lewis an apology. Yeah, but what about this one, Pedro? This one's more like it. Tony, I just cut them off the spool of wick as I go. Oh, that was hot. Almost as hot as Alicia Vitt. Dear God, help me if my wife heard that. This is probably about the only time that I use contact wicking like this. And it's only because I'm actually using the wick as an abrasive tool. You can't hurt me, Pedro. She already knows about that. And she's comfortable with it because she knows that when I watch shows like Justified, I'm watching it for Timothy Oliphant and as my first priority. So she's got this sick obsession with Garrett Hedlund. Though to be fair, it's not Garrett Hedlund she's obsessed with, it's Murtagh out of Aragon. And as it is, that was 20 years old now, so it's all over. The miracle of youth is long gone from that boy. Alright, so this board is now prepped, ready for when we do get our 3215s. Not much else I can do about it at this point. There's no guarantee it's even going to work though. And I'm just putting flux over it. Like I said, the flux will get gummy and nasty, but it will stop the contacts from oxidizing. And for me, that's more important. Alright. Well, that was unfortunate. At least though, because of the previous job that I did, it led me to check those things, which then led me to, of course, realise that I had a problem that might be solvable. Alright, next job. Oh, and as for the wick, let's see, so I've got this tech spray, what is it, 1823, and I gotta, there we go, the damn microscope switcher isn't working now. Should kick back. No. Pedro, I'd say I think it was an input surge because the first one distinctly had a bobble in it, so that tends to indicate that there was a surge. So yeah, this is the stuff that I use, this Tech Spray 1823. Now, this is a 25-foot roll, which is bigger than the usual sort of 5-foot roll. So this is just sort of, what is this, 1.5 meters? Yeah, 5-foot roll. So you got your 5-foot roll, typical flux, then you got your 25-foot rolls, which feel like it's quite an upgrade, and then you every now and then are an idiot and you order the wrong thing and you end up with a 100-foot roll. Good thing I actually like good thing I like this wick, because yeah, there's plenty of it. That should last me probably until I retire, I think. So Chris Long actually got me onto this wick. It's a good wick for this sort of work. I like the Goot wick for larger work, for when you're getting up with power supplies and things like that, because the coarser weave tends to hold more solder in somehow. But for the fine stuff that we do, the Goot wick is a good sorry, not the Goot wick, the Tech Spray is a good match. Alright, so I'm just going to mark that. So we have looks like this will be an 875 because I can't see a CD3215, which reminds me I've got to remove that CD3215, not CD3215, PIC 32. And I'll put a replacement one on it straight away. There it is. Because you can bet your boots that after a couple of weeks, I am not going to remember that I need to remove that. Hidden one down here. Geez, I'm almost out of them. Better order some more. Right, did I just drop 2 of them, did I? Yeah, I did. I actually find these to be extremely annoying to resolder. Something about them drives me insane. Let's see. Transfer, you'll have to ask on the Open Board View Git page. I don't personally do a lot with Open Board View anymore because of the fact that I now, because I commercially sell Flexboard View. if you're doing it professionally, then you probably want to go to flex board view, but if you're doing it as a hobby, then yeah, run off to the open board view Git page and ask on the issues section there, and they'll be able to help you. Yeah, pretty much did my time with open board view. I put a lot of work into it, transformed it quite considerably into a good portion of what it is today, and now it's up to other people to do their part. Oh boy, okay, so this one's had stuff done to it already. Yeah, it's nauseating, man. Well, I can see the first problem here. The first problem is that we've got a mismatch of the CDs. We've got a C00 here and we've got a B03 here. Now the 1708s, this particular model, can take the B03s no problem, but you can't mix the C03, the C00s and the B03s. That just won't work. So that's probably why this one doesn't work. And since, oh shit's sake, yeah. Physical damage, emotional damage. I'm just gonna try to get this one to sit back down. That cap just popped. Fuck. I hate these caps with such a passion. You really can't look at these caps the wrong way, this particular sort, and they just sort of go, yeah, they're little snowflakes. They cannot handle any kind of heat. I'm just trying to work out what my best course of action here. I think we'll do the leave her off. Leave her off. That sounds good. No, wait. Ah, Mr. Daniels. Ach, nee man. Kak. Because if I had tried to go in with the hot air on that, I would have then popped others around it, and that's how it works. You get caught. You think, oh, I just popped one, must have been bad, and you go try to take another one off, and the neighbour pops off, and then the neighbour pops off that, and before you know it, you have to replace all the caps. I mean, they do seem to function still afterwards, but I wouldn't trust them. I'm actually going to walk away from this board right now because I don't have... I could put another... well, maybe I do have some BO3s. Actually, come to think of it, I think Lewis sent me some BO3s. I think he was trying to be nice and say, here you go, Paul, here's some valuable chips for you. But really what he was doing is he was just dumping his unwanted stock on me and tried to get more of a happy response from me than, oh no, this thing's a goddamn minefield. What the flippity fire trucking heck happened here? It's like someone's baked the absolute living frick out of it. Ah. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why if you're going to do board repairs on MacBooks, you need to get a hot air station that can do the job. The old cheap $99 one is not going to do it. You're going to roast parts before you get them off. As it is, this is going to be tricky enough. Like I can see they've struggled to get that down, so they've actually probably reverted to using a soldering iron even. Now I don't know how successful I'm going to be here, but at the very least I want to get that away from the board. Stuff's smelling bad. There we go. Yep, fan in handle job. Absolutely is. Not a fan of them. Okay. Alright, so we managed to clean that up. That resistor there is bothering me. And it looks like we've had a whole lot of liquid damage over here. You know what this is? This is a dumpster filler. Yeah, there's even a bow in the board. So they probably sat there for 10 minutes with the fan in handle. Yeah, they probably sat there for 10 minutes with the fan in handle, soldering hot air thing, trying to get that to actually go down, but it did not. And subsequently the CPU's probably cooked, the board's bent. Well, the board is bent. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'm looking at here in terms of fault. I'm just going over the board. This is a 1707, so I think it'll be a 928, I think. I'm sure we'll find that. Okay, so we've got a little bit of corrosion there. Oh, it's a 281, okay. It does have the life raft connector, so we don't have it. Oh boy. Yeah. So that's a trackpad polyfuse. So it looks like this might have been replaced here, and that is a combo logic chip. And I just realised I don't actually have a 1707 chassis. And I also realised it's past midnight. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these boards get sent to me just as a like, you know what, this is lying around the workshop, see what you can do with it. $20 volts, 1 amp, 1.5 amps, I don't get it. I'm guessing the problem here is something to do with the trackpad, by the fact that that polyfuse has been reworked and that little chip has been reworked. We'll bring up the board view and schematic just to verify that. Okay, so we want a 281. But yeah, I don't have one of those chassis. Sadly, that happens all too often around here. I don't have every chassis. And it would be nice if I could buy chassis at reasonable prices, but because of Mr. Rossman, everybody and their dog seems to think that their broken MacBook is worth $1 million. Okay, so this is the chip here. SPI motherboards, clear, select, use MLB. I'm going to guess that what's happening is maybe the trackpad works in EFI mode but doesn't work in normal mode. It's not your business. Yeah, without a chassis I can't really do anything, which is very annoying. But yeah, I just do not have a 1707 chassis. I've got a 1706, but I was an idiot and I decided to use that machine because I got it fixed and it was such a good chassis. I turned it into my own personal machine. So once more I need to go and find a mostly good 1706 and a mostly good 1707. By the time I do though, they'll probably be like the 1502s and 1398s of today, where no one really cares about them anymore. So yeah, too many YouTubers paying $500 for broken stuff when brand new it's 300. Well, that's true, yeah, people doing that. Alright, well listen, I think I'm going to call it for tonight. Did we fix anything at all? No, we did not. But we did at least get a little bit more progress on that other board, so we know we've got to get the 4 new CD3215s. Not quite as exciting as last night. Sorry. That's the way it goes. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you all again for watching. I'll see you all the next time. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday. We'll see what comes in the mail on Monday morning. Till then, catch you later.